Flatties and reality defenders. This is the fabulous, the legendary CT from Down Under. Thank you. Today we're going to look at FAQ video 4 from the 3 or 6 Bitcoin challenge. Let's hear what Dave has to say one more time.
Watch the daily video while you have your morning coffee, breakfast, whatever. And one just every day for 2 weeks. At the end of that 2 weeks, if you think the Earth is a globe, you can send me your proof and you win 3 Bitcoins. But before you do, you have to hit the question mark button.
Okay.
And that opens up the frequently asked questions so you don't waste my time. Okay? People are like, you got to have your Bitcoin in escrow. You got to have a contract. No, I don't. Okay? My honor. Right? Before you go, well, how do I know you're going to pay? My reputation, my everything is on it. If I don't pay, then, I've ruined everything.
I swear on my life, I will pay you 6 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof.
Sounds pretty convincing, doesn't he? So the video today, yes, is I've corrected the title because the title was wrong. It's a misspelt there. You don't use a semicolon, so I've had to correct that. It was actually Santiago to Sydney, and it wasn't on a flat Earth because the flat Earth doesn't exist. It was actually on the globe. And this flight does prove the globe, and that's why I can put that there. So one thing to note about this title here is very pertinent. So, flat earthers, it's not what you think it is. The shape of our Earth is not what you think it is. Very appropriate title. The other thing about this video, all right, it's originally on Jaron's channel, but oopsie, Jaron has taken it down. And why has Jaron taken it down? Because he understands now that this flight happens on a globe. So, of course, he cannot have this video up. So there's one more proof that the Earth is a globe. But we're not going to rely on that. We're going to show why this video does not debunk the southern flights on a globe. We'll skip a little bit of the intro and we'll start at the talking.
And this video stems from a conversation we had on Globebusters. We had a little talk with Max Egan, and you may know him from The Crow House. He also has made some awesome movies, so check those out. The Awakening, The Calling, Transformation. But he's got a great message, and he doesn't think too highly of the flat Earth. You can find him in the link below, so if you want to watch his stuff. Also, you can find his interview on Globebusters in the link below as well. He tells us that he thinks the flat Earth is a circular argument and that it can't be proven. So let me let you hear his version of the story first, and then we'll be back to talk about his conversation on Globebusters and a little flight anomaly that he experienced when flying from Santiago, Chile to Sydney, Australia.
So just a correction, it was not a flight anomaly, right? It was unable to use a compass anomaly. So there was nothing wrong with the flight. It was the using the compass. That was what was wrong.
When I identified the whole flat Earth, globe Earth debate as being a psyop, I wasn't saying that one side was particularly true. I was saying that the movement is being played as a divisive mechanism. It's being played as a psyop. It's a psychological operation. It's being used to divide the community. And if you just look at what this movement has done, it's at loggerheads. It's put everybody at loggerheads with each other.
Yes.
Because you've got two sides stating an absolute. And everybody's arguing, if you listen to the flat earthers and globe earthers talking to each other, each one of them is saying you can't prove the Earth's flat, and the globe earthers are saying prove the globe. That's their whole baseline when it comes down to it, is prove the globe.
No, look, I'd have to disagree with that. The whole baseline is the Earth cannot be flat, and there's thousands of pieces of evidence for the globe. The globe can make predictions like, for example, what time the sun will rise and set each day. Flat Earth makes 0 predictions, has no model, has no science. They don't even know where the sun is. And so, no, it's not a matter of proving the globe. It's a matter of the flat Earth is ridiculous and nothing works on a flat Earth, including the map.
Yeah, ultimately, there are 5 models that are put forth for this Earth, and not one of them can adequately explain reality, not yet.
The globe explains reality all the time, every measurement, every observation. So I don't know what you're talking about.
You know, the jury's still out as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, but that's because you're not a scientist. You're not science-based, okay? Seems like you have success in other areas of life, but you can't carry that success over to areas that you know nothing about.
People put out videos saying Max Egan lying shill for the ball Earth, because I don't agree that the Earth is flat, because I'm not able to take a position, because as far as I'm concerned, the jury's still out on all the models.
No, the jury's not out at all. Has never been out. It's dead and buried, the flat Earth. But anyway, people like to still argue about it, and that's why I'm here.
There isn't one model, like I said, that explains reality adequately, and no model that answers all of the things that are here. So,
yes, that's the globe that answers all those questions. There's no question that cannot be answered about our reality that the globe does not explain.
Position, and why am I accused of having a position? Simply because I won't take on someone else's belief system. You know what I'm saying? So you get involved in this circular paradoxical argument. It's an argument that's completely paradoxical, and you can't ever win the argument. No one can win from either side, because each side is demanding absolutes when there are no absolutes.
I disagree with that as well.
So he sees it as a psyop. He says it's a paradoxical argument, but he also noticed something very interesting on his recent flight from Santiago, Chile to Sydney, Australia. First off, he did show us that the flight exists, so we thank him for that. And second, he showed us a rather interesting anomaly that perhaps is a significant detail in the entire globe versus flat debate.
No, it's a completely insignificant detail that's been blown all out of proportion because the flatties want to cling to anything at all, either to cry fake or say, oh, that doesn't make sense, but it makes perfect sense. And we'll see that in this video.
So let's pick up the conversation that was on Globebusters and see what he's got to say and what his video shows.
Actually share something else with you regarding that flight, which I found unusual, which I'm sure you will get something of interest from. And I don't know what it means, but this is what happened. Someone said to me, make sure you take your compass next time. So I did. I took a compass with me. I have a very good compass. I could turn my camera on and show it to you if you want. I could actually show you the video of this little particular section of the flight if you want it. And I was about maybe more, 6, 7 hours, 8, I don't know, a fair bit in the flight. I've been asleep for about 5 hours, and I woke up and I'm quite groggy. It was daylight all the way back, flying all the way back from South America. It was daylight. If you look at the map, yes, you take a southwestern route, then you go west, and you take a northwestern route as you come back up to Sydney from when you cross over just before you get to New Zealand. You sort of start going north again, northwest. So
as we look at the Great Circle route that you would take going from Chile, Santiago, Chile, across the Pacific Ocean all the way to Sydney, Australia, you would take this route, which is exactly as he said. You would start out first going south or southwest, and then you would take a little portion of it going west, and then you would go northwest.
That's basically correct. They don't always fly that exact route. It depends on the winds, which are generally from west to east, but that's another story. We'll get to that. But yeah, that's about right.
So that would be the lineup.
I was looking at their compass, and their compass at one particular point was reading northwest, and my compass was reading west-southwest.
Yes, so that's it, right? That's the whole anomaly, that his compass is not reading the same as the heading on the seatback display. But there's a very simple reason for that, as we'll see.
My compass stayed reading west-southwest for the entire journey.
So there's a dead giveaway. That's a red flag immediately. The compass stayed the same. So, people, what do you think that is? Do you think there's something wrong with the working of the compass? or is the globe wrong? So which one is the most likely, people? The compass is stuck. A compass is never stuck. Why would a compass be stuck? But we'll see that.
Entire journey that I was awake anyway.
So just to kind of show what he was saying, he said every time he checked his compass, he was getting a southwest reading, which a flat Earth would show.
Well, we're going to dispute that too later.
And on the on-screen video display on the back seat of the seat in front of him was showing a northwest, as the globe would show. He had been asleep for 5 hours, he said, but when he woke up, the plane was showing the portion of the trip as northwest, but his compass was showing a different reading of southwest. He also claimed that his compass remained in the southwest position for the entire remainder of his flight, and then he went home and checked the compass against many others, a digital compass and another compass, and said his compass was working fine. So,
yes, that's okay. The compass does work fine. It's just not working fine in the plane where you placed it. So, yeah, all of that is great. Like I said, the dead giveaway is that his compass did not show a different direction the whole time he was looking at it.
We'll listen to the rest of this and watch the video of him showing us exactly what anomaly he found.
But I was asleep for 5 hours during the journey. But every time I checked my compass, it was pointing south-southwest. And I find that a bit strange that I would be flying south-southwest all the way from Santiago to Sydney.
No, your compass is showing that. That does not mean you're flying south-southwest. This here, you can tell this guy does not have a scientific brain, right? You don't necessarily trust your compass. That's not the only explanation of why your compass was reading that. He's using the compass as gospel, that this compass must be right, therefore we must be flying south-southwest. Faulty assumption, and anybody who does a little bit of science would not be sucked into this faulty assumption.
It didn't really make a lot of sense to me. So that's a weird thing. Whether there's some weird electromagnetic interference in the plane that's causing my compass to do weird things, I don't know. But,
yeah, but we do know.
I took the compass. I took a little video of the compass on the screen and I compared it with my compass sitting on the table, pointing directly straight ahead to the nose of the plane, and I was getting a different reading. So that's something that may interest you.
Well, that's amazing, Max. I mean, if you look at the Gleason's map, if you were traveling, you would be going west-southwest the entire way. So, I mean, those are the kind of things that are important because they are not possible on a globe.
But the route on the Gleason's map that Jaron is talking about there is impossible, right? We don't fly that route, and we'll see that a little bit later, right? So, crazy business.
And so these are the kind of things when you say it's not provable, you just kind of proved it, that something is wrong.
No, I didn't prove anything. What I offered you was an interesting piece of information.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So he's right. He didn't prove anything, right? And Jaron's trying to blow it up into something big that it isn't. Oh, look, you proved the flat Earth because your compass is reading wrong. No, faulty science.
Which we will add to our preponderance of evidence, and that's beautiful, and we appreciate that.
I can actually play, and for people out there that are saying, what are you saying this for, Max? Can you turn my screen on? Would you like me to share that particular video with you?
I would love it. The next 2 or 3 minutes of this video were us trying to get Max to share his screen.
So can you...
Yeah, folks, I've been asleep for about 5 hours.
There you go.
We got it.
We're now well, as you can see.
So here we can clearly see that the plane is in the portion of the flight that it's turning northwest, as seen by the on-screen display.
Just one thing too there, it doesn't necessarily have to turn to go northwest. We'll see that in another video somewhere. I don't think we'll see that today, but there doesn't necessarily have to be a... It's an interesting concept, but I don't think we'll get into that today.
mostly cloud. Here's the problem. That's the reading that I'm getting from the radar.
So, as we can see here, as he said, in the radar or on the on-screen display, clearly the plane is traveling northwest, according to the flight tracker.
Yeah, it does travel northwest.
I'm getting a different reading from my compass. Most business compass around. The readings
Very poor quality. Very poor quality. But here you can see the location of his compass, which is critical in evaluating this. His compass there is on the tray table. The tray table has metal components on it, and his compass is close to the metal components of the tray table.
So they're giving me a reading of northwest. They're giving me a map direction of northwest. But on my compass, I'm getting a reading to southwest.
So, as you can see, the compass is clearly showing southwest,
Yes.
or west-southwest, and the on-screen display is showing it is going northwest.
Yes.
Quite a large anomaly.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at that on the Gleason's map, and that would tend to agree with the flat Earth map, Max's compass readings, wouldn't it, Jaron?
Yeah, I mean,
Except that you don't fly the path that you're thinking of on the Gleason's map, right? You don't fly that way. We've got proof that you don't fly that way.
definitely would be a southwest from Santiago to Auckland, or that would be southwest pretty much the whole time.
Interesting.
And that's what I keep going back to, is that whole idea of a great circle. They say you have to travel in that kind of a arc path, which is just not true. You could draw a straight line between Auckland and New Zealand.
The arc is not an arc on a globe. It's a straight line when you tip the globe around and look at the great circle line. So a great circle line looks like an arc if you turn your globe. So I do understand that they're getting this confused. Looks like they don't understand the globe, and because they can't visualize in 3D, the flat map looks fantastic to them.
Well, the straight line.
So there you go.
Well, thank you for that, Max.
Thank you for that.
So you see, I'm open to things, you know. But that's interesting.
Yeah.
I found that indiscrepancy. What caused it? I don't know. Is there a problem with my compass? I don't know. I spin it around. It looked all right. I don't know. I checked it with another compass when I go home. It looked good. I checked it with a digital compass. It looked good. I don't know. That's what it gave me. So that's something interesting.
It is. It's very interesting because, you know, when you look at it on the Gleason's map, it would tend to agree with the flat Earth model. Now, are we going to say that's conclusive? Nope. But it's an interesting tidbit for sure. Very interesting.
Easily explained tidbit.
Good to see that.
The flight from Sydney to Santiago is 11.5 hours. The flight back is around about 14.5 because you're accounting for headwind.
So, as you can see...
Yeah, did you catch that? He said the flight from Sydney to Santiago is about 11 and a half hours. The flight back is about 14 hours something. And that's because of the headwinds. Funny about that. That's the globe. It's not flat Earth.
Something is clearly weird about that particular flight, which seems to show...
No, it's nothing weird about the flight. The flight is perfectly okay. Yes, the compass was reading different, but there's nothing weird about the flight.
So, northwest as the intended path of the flight, yet Max clearly showed... at least that portion of the flight was showing southwest on his compass, and he claims that it showed southwest the entire time he was awake. Let me show you a flat Earth map so you can get an idea of why that's a big deal. Now, as you heard Bob say, this is not necessarily proof, it's just something that's very interesting and worth mentioning. Now, let me look at the flight as it would take place here on the Gleason's map. Now, again, none of us are claiming that this Gleason's map is exactly correct. We're not claiming that the sizes of the continents are correct or the distances between them. It's
That's
just
right,
something to give us an idea
correct.
if we're looking at a flat Earth kind of model. You can see the black line being the flight's path.
So they're more or less proving the globe with this map. First of all, he's admitted it's not correct, right? The size of the continents are not correct and other things. And also, he's drawn this flight on this map that travels north from Santiago in a northwest direction, travels over, oh, look at that, travels over the US of A, apparently, and then enters into Australia, from a northeast direction, travelling down there in a southwest direction. So we know that the flight does not fly north from Santiago. We know it does not fly over the United States or Mexico. And we know it does not fly over that section of the Pacific Ocean. So I don't even know why he's showing this map, but this is good proof of the globe right here, because on the flat Earth everything is incorrect. Good one.
Path if it were on a flat Earth, and if you look at the lines that have the green on them, those are the lines where the plane would be flying northwest. The line with the purple would be flying about west, and then all the yellow lines would be flying southwest. So the interesting thing there is when Max said that the second half of his trip, the entire time he was awake, his compass was showing southwest. That would make sense with all the yellow lines, as you see.
But there's a problem. The plane is physically south of New Zealand. That's a bit of a problem, don't you think? That's a bit of a problem. Wouldn't that make you stop and think a little bit? Hey? Just a little bit?
Remember, north is relative to where you're at, with south behind you, so that's what those little pink lines show us. And as you can see, all the yellow lines are actually a southwest flight direction, where on a globe he should have been going northwest. And that's the anomaly that he found.
So, me mate Wolfie6020 has produced this video showing what can happen to a compass if you're not careful of the placement on an aeroplane. The metal in the tray frame can lock the compass in a certain position, which is exactly what happened to Max Egan. His compass was locked, showing southwest.
If you're moving around, it changes. Look at that.
Look at that.
There's a compass anomaly if I've ever seen one.
The compass changing depends on where you put it.
Changes again. There's no anomaly. It's just pointing to metal in the table, and it's getting a lot of interference just from metal in the aircraft itself.
See that, how that locks up that metal?
Completely unreliable.
So the compass is completely unreliable on a metal tray. Now, I took this flight, people saying, use a compass, use a compass. They want to see the compass readings. And I didn't have a compass because I think it's not much help, because if you can look out the window, that's far better than a compass. But anyway, I do have a compass app on my phone. So what does a good engineer do when they want to take compass readings on a flight? Well, first you've got to check your compass is working, right? So you check your compass when you're at a known location, pointing in a known direction, and you can look out the window and say, yep, that's where we are and that's where we're heading. Then you check your compass. You don't use your compass the first time when you're over clouds and you can't see out the window. So here's me having a bit of a check of my compass app. I realise I'm not holding it exactly straight there, but the needle moves around, so it just shows that it's pointing in a northerly direction, because the plane on the display is pointing in a northerly direction. So the compass can be a couple of degrees out either way, no worries. So the other thing about compass, it has a declination error because the south magnetic pole is not at the south pole. But we'll just ignore that for now. Just we want to know the compass is pointing in the same general direction as the aircraft. Now, during a section of flight, we're travelling south, and I check my compass again. So the needle is pointing south in the direction of flight. So there's, you know you're flying south because you can see out the window and the mountains are on the left and the ocean is on the right. So you leave Santiago and you travel south, not north as you might do on an AE map where they were showing that flight path on the AE map, heading south. So there's proof of the globe there again. So right, that was all I needed for that section. I've checked my compass is working and pointing in the right direction. There's no tray table there, I just had it on my knee. Now, also I checked the direction when we were coming south of New Zealand. I'll just play this one clip. You can see the direction of the flight travelling south of New Zealand, and it's in a northwest direction, just the same way as Max Egan's flight. In this case, the compass is pointing correctly. It agrees. That's because the compass, I've checked it's working, and I'm not sitting it on the tray table where the metal will make it point in a particular direction and make it stick there. So there's no anomaly. When you do everything right and correct, there's no anomaly. So that's it. The Earth is a globe, really. And a faulty compass reading does not change that. Well, that's all for today. Thank you very much, and we'll hope to get another video out soon.